Prepare your minds for action and exercise self-control. Prepare your minds for action. He said, let the hope that you have for the future, let your trust in who God is, get you ready to live well now. Let your settled confidence that God's good won't end. Let your settled confidence that whatever bad is happening in this world, there is a day coming when that bad is expiration date and it is over. And God takes over and it is all good. Let your settled confidence that that's coming. Don't let that make you hunker down and just wait it out. Let it steady your heart so that you can respond well to whatever is going on around you. Listen, I have heard some Christians take their hope of heaven someday and the good that is coming someday and use it as an excuse to hunker down and do nothing today. To just say, yeah, the world's just done. It's all just, hopeless anyways. We're just going to wait for heaven. That is never what Jesus had in mind for us as his followers. That the hope he offers to us is always meant to strengthen us in the way that we live today so that we can live today God-honoring, distinctive, conspicuous lives that point everybody in the direction of the one who our hope is in. That's why we talk around here about being disciples that make disciples, being people influenced by Jesus who are influencing others in the direction of Jesus. We use our hope of heaven then to live differently now. And so in the end, Pete just comes out and says it. He's like, let me just say it to you. Let me just be as plain as I can be. Put all your hope in the gracious salvation that will come to you when Jesus Christ is revealed to the world. All your hope. Put all of your hope for how things are going to turn out. All of your hope for how your life is going to be. All of your hope for how your circumstances are going to be. Put all of your hope in the gracious salvation that will come. Let your knowledge of the good that won't end be the confidence that informs the way you live now. Put all your hope. So, followers of Jesus, I know things are not like they could be. There are difficulties, there are struggles, things that you are really experiencing right now, suffering and grief. And I know they're probably not looking like they're getting a whole lot better. I just got to tell you very personally, there's somebody very close to me who I've had to come to the grips with this idea. Whatever care we give to them, whatever medical attention we bring alongside them, it's never going to get better. They're never going to get better. That what they're walking through is going to end in their death. But you know what? In the midst of that, what I know is that bad won't last. Even when it ends in death, that bad won't last. And what I know for that person, because of their deep faith and trust in Jesus, the good will never end. The good will never end. Look, can I just be straight with you? I have watched so many people who claim to be followers of Jesus descend into anger, negativity, disgust, this fatalistic, despairing posture about the world that we live in. And I'm not blind, I know. The world's not going like it should be going. Things are not happening in this world the way God would want them to happen. I know. But here's what I do know. One day, there's good coming that's never going to end. This world may not be all that it ought to be. But I tell you what, it's not like it's going to be either. When God comes back and Jesus comes back and takes over the place, it's not going to be like that either. Years ago, Chuck Coulson, you remember Chuck Coulson? Chuck Coulson was the special counsel to Richard Nixon when Richard Nixon was president. Some said he was the second most powerful person in the free world. Because Chuck Coulson kind of acted like Richard Nixon's hatchet man, his errand boy, to go do all of his bidding. And he ended up in federal prison for his role in the Watergate scandal, Coulson did. But in prison, he met Jesus. And Jesus transformed his life and turned this former hatchet man, federal criminal, into a Christian statesman who just spoke truth into the world from God's perspective. And there's a speech that was captured, Coulson giving this speech. And I tried to chase down where he was when he gave this speech. I couldn't find the reference for it, but this speech was so impactful, it ended up in this music video, the song that Stephen Curtis Chapman put out, and became this quote became famous, and it should be. Because Coulson, after living the life he lived and then finding Christ and looking at the condition of the world, he said this. He said, "Where is the hope?" He said, "I meet millions of people who feel demoralized by the decay around us. Where is the hope?" He said, "The hope that each of us has is not in who governs us or what laws we pass or what great things we do as a nation." He said this, "Our hope is in the power of God working through the hearts of people." And that's where our hope is in this country, and that's where our hope is in life. Listen, I'm just telling you, if you are going to have real hope that the bad won't last and the good won't end, you better make sure that the one you have hope in can deliver on that promise. And I'm just telling you, there's only one that I have ever met that can deliver on a promise like that. And it's Jesus. So come on. We have a personal relationship with the one who defeated death. We have an all-access pass to all of the resources of heaven. We know, like the Apostle Paul said in 2 Corinthians, he said, we may be outwardly wasting away. Our world may be outwardly wasting away, but inwardly, we are being renewed day by day. And these temporary troubles that we're experiencing are only giving us the opportunity to trust our God even more and to live conspicuous, hopeful, distinctive lives that point everybody in the direction of the one we hope in. So, how about if we do this? Because like every week we get up here and talk to you and stuff, and at the end we're always saying, here's some stuff to do. Like go and do this stuff, like read through the book of 1 Peter, that'll help you. Do that. But how about if we do this? How about if we practice the Word of God this way? Every time you look at the culture around you, every time you look at what's happening in your own experience, every time you look at your own health, every time you watch yourself get older and things don't work like they used to work and you start getting discouraged, every time you see the decay around you, you say this, "But I put my hope in God." How about if that just became our practice all the time? How about if we you watch the news and go, "Wow, that didn't seem to go very well, but you know what? I put my hope in God. Wow, that election didn't turn out the way that I thought it was going to, but I put my hope in God. Wow, our culture isn't heading in the direction that I think it probably ought to head in, but you know what? I put my hope in God. Wow, I see the decay happening around me. Wow, I see the difficulties happening around me. I see the suffering that's even coming in my own life, but you know what? I put my hope in God." How about if we just do that and see how that works for a while? And then let's get out there and live these conspicuous, unignorable, joy-filled, optimistic, not full of wishful thinking, but full of hope lives that point everyone to the one that our hope is in. Let's do that.